Here are the top stories for today, November 6, 2019. Malacanang welcomes Vice President Leni Robredo's acceptance of her appointment as co-chair of the government's anti-illegal drugs body. The PCOO defends the raid and mass arrest against activist groups in Bacolod. The MMDA is set to suspend about 1,000 bus drivers due to excessive traffic violations. And residents of Ormoc Leyte remember the tragic 1991 flash flood on its 28th year. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Vice President Leni Robredo has accepted the offer to co-chair the government's anti-illegal drugs body. The Vice President vows to work alongside the administration while being critical of the war on drugs. Romdulfo has the story.
Vice President Leni Robredo has accepted the appointment as co-chairperson of the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs, or ICAD. In a statement issued Wednesday, she expressed apprehension whether she should accept the post, as she said many viewed it as a trap to malign her. She said she wanted to put the war on drugs in order, particularly to seek an end to the killings and to go after big-time drug lords. She adds she will not go silent in criticizing the administration even after accepting the post, and that the government should be ready for the likes of her.
Ang pinakamahalagang konsiderasyon para sa akin ay simple lang. Kung ito ang pagkakataon para matigil ang patayan ng mga inosente at mapanagot ang kailangang managot, papasanin ko ito. Kaya tinatanggap ko ang trabaho na binibigay sa akin ng Pangulo.
For its part, Malacanang said Robredo can join the next cabinet meeting immediately in her capacity as ICAD co-chair. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo said Robredo's appointment proves that the administration is ready for her. Panelo said President Duterte appointed Robredo as ICAD co-chair to give her an opportunity to help the administration in combating illegal drugs. He also maintained that the president's anti-narcotics drive is far from being a failure or ineffective as proposed by Robredo. For now, Panelo said the next step for Robredo is to talk with the president to know the parameters of her power as ICAD co-chair.
We welcome her return to the cabinet, and as I pointed out, this is her moment, and she should seize this opportunity because destiny awaits her and history beckons. So this is it. By her acceptance, it shows that she is much smarter than her colleagues in the opposition who do not want her to succeed. Welcome, Vice President Leni, back to the cabinet.
Meanwhile, PDEA Director General Aaron Aquino welcomed the decision of Robredo.
Finally, na-accept na naman ng ating Vice President yung resignation niya as my co-chairman, as co-chairman of ICAD. Sana natanggap niya mas maaga, no? Nakasama namin siya ngayong umaga. But again, I will just wait for her call. Siguradong magpapabriefing siya sa akin kung ano yung mga naging accomplishment na ng ICAD and what is ICAD all about.
For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Romdulfo.
In other news, the 13 police officers allegedly involved in the reselling of seized illegal drugs in Pampanga 6 years ago are set to face administrative charges. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año said the administrative charges being pursued against the cops include serious irregularity in the performance of duty, dishonesty, and grave misconduct. The charges were based on the investigation report conducted by the DILG Napolcom. Meanwhile, no administrative case will be filed against resigned PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde, but Año said he is liable for command responsibility. The case involves the supposed cover-up during the November 2013 buy-bust in Woodbridge Subdivision, Lakeshore View, Pampanga by anti-drug operatives of the Pampanga Provincial Police Office. The raid yielded a substantial amount of illegal drugs wherein involved cops allegedly pilfered some 160 kilos of shabu. Australia, Austria, China, and the European Union, or EU, have separately offered sympathies and humanitarian aid to the earthquake victims in Mindanao. Australian Ambassador Stephen Robinson on Tuesday said Canberra is in solidarity with the Philippines, particularly those affected by the powerful tremors. On Saturday, the DSWD deployed 5.4 million pesos worth of Australian gifted relief supplies to field offices in Davao Region and Socsargen. The Austrian Embassy in Manila also relayed its message of sympathy over the weekend to the families of those killed in the earthquakes. The EU released a statement expressing sadness over the effects of earthquake which hit Mindanao. The EU delegation to the Philippines said it stands in solidarity with the Filipino people. On the other hand, Chinese State Councilor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi assured that China is willing to offer assistance to the Philippines within its capacity. He said he believes that under the strong leadership of the Philippine government, Filipinos will overcome the disaster and return to normal at an early date. The MMDA cracks down on bus drivers with excessive violations. And the POEA warns job seekers against fake ads using the agency's logo. More on these and other news around the metro from Janice Cabe.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority on Tuesday said around 1,000 public utility bus drivers may soon have their driver's licenses suspended following their excessive and repeated violation of traffic laws. Excessive violators may also find their license perpetually revoked. At least 1,700 PUB drivers have recorded a minimum of 100 traffic violations since 2006. To ensure the enforcement of suspension following multiple violations, the LTO will include the MMDA's traffic violations database with its suspension system. Meanwhile, the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration on Tuesday warned job seekers from looking for job vacancies. The POEA named bogus social media accounts that use name and logo of POEA to entice Filipinos looking for employment opportunities abroad. It said the fake POEA Facebook pages are not verified or approved by the agency to advertise job vacancies. Job seekers may contact the POEA through its verified Facebook account or check the online verification system at the POEA website or by calling its telephone hotlines. In other news, a surveillance group of the National Capital Region Police Office, dubbed the Red Team, has caught 8 cops sleeping on duty. In a press briefing Tuesday, NCRPO Chief Debold Sinas said 4 of them are assigned in Makati City, 2 from Caloocan City, and 2 from Valenzuela City. The 8 policemen would be charged with a less serious offense. The Red Team is tasked to monitor and gather proof against policemen involved in illegal activities such as playing golf on weekdays. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
Still to come, the PCOO defends the raid and mass arrests against activist groups in Bacolod. The Mindanao Development Authority opens stores for food and other commodities in areas affected by earthquakes. These and more when we return.
Ngayong pong buwan, October 31, we will declare the most affected area, the ground zero, clear of the danger of bombs.
We have witnessed the last of the 260 bombs that we recovered, plus of course the other IEDs that our team from the National Housing Authority and the private corporation, the private developer contractor, that help us in the clearing of the most affected area.
rehabilitation proper after the clearing of all of these boxes and the ruins ay sa paghihintay po ng maraming tao ay ngayon po ay masasabi natin na magsisimula na po magpatayo ng mga infrastruktura na papakinabangan ng ating mga kababayan.
And I can assure you that by December of 2021, tapos ang ating rehabilitation sa most affected area.
2 taon mula nang ideklara ni Pangulong Duterte na malaya na ang Marawi City sa kamay ng mga Maute ISIS. Sa ngayon, patuloy ang pagbabalik normal ng buhay ng mga kapatid nating Maranao sa tulong na rin ng Task Force Bangon Marawi. Para sa ating mga kabayan, sama-sama nating ibangon ang mas maunlad at mapayapang Marawi City.
Nobody was harmed during joint operations conducted by police and military personnel in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, which resulted in the arrest of suspected militants last week. Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar decried the accusations of human rights group Karapatan baseless. In a published column, the group compared the mass arrest to raids conducted by the secret state police in Nazi Germany, noted for its brutal methods of interrogation. Andanar pointed out that military and police secured search warrants before conducting joint operations on October 31st. He also condemned allegations of Karapatan that evidence such as firearms and subversive documents was planted in their underground offices. The PCOO chief also said authorities also found proof of child recruitment with the discovery of minors in the target locations. Andanar said, while the administration remains open to critics that encourage public service, it will not tolerate acts of abuse, terrorism, and subversion by communist terror groups. 3 parents from the Umayamnon Indigenous Peoples Group have called on the New People's Army to return their children whom they believed were recruited by the rebels. The parents expressed their desire to see their children again during an interview with radio station DXDB in Valencia City on Monday. The couple, Lolita and Durno, said that their 26-year-old daughter, Gemma, was enrolled at Bukidnon State University sometime in 2015 but had stopped going to classes because of financial problems. They later received a phone call confirming that Gemma was in the hands of the NPA. Meanwhile, a boy shared that their 16-year-old daughter, Rosemary, who ran away to avoid an arranged marriage, was forced to join the NPA. The 3 are part of the growing number of parents who are working to secure the return of their children from the custody of the NPA and its fronts. In July this year, the parents formed a movement called Hands Off Our Children that began documenting their search for their children on Facebook. The National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, remains on the lookout for upside risks, particularly cases of African swine fever, which could affect inflation. NEDA expects 2019's full-year inflation to settle within the government target of 2% to 4% after hitting a low of 0.8% in October. NEDA officer in charge, Adoracion Navarro, said that although the government welcomed the easing of inflation, the country must watch out for upside risks such as ASF. Navarro said ASF cases have been observed in Rizal, Pangasinan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Cavite, and Quezon City. She explained the livestock industry in ASF-stricken areas, which accounts for 21.7% of the country's total hog production last year, remains at high risk. She said the government and private companies must collaborate to manage, contain, and control the spread of the disease. The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, reported on Tuesday that headline inflation last month was due mainly to lower food prices, including rice. Following the recent earthquakes in some parts of Mindanao, prices of common household items including food have dramatically increased. This prompted the Mindanao Development Authority to open its chain of outlets selling food and basic household items at farm gate prices. Some products on sale are fish from General Santos City, canned sardines from Zamboanga, vegetables from Bukidnon, pork from nearby towns, and rice direct from the farmers. Minda Chair Manny Piñol said the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the police would be engaged to ensure the smooth operation of the outlets. The first Minda outlet will be opened at 9 a.m. in Makilala, particularly in front of the Notre Dame School along the Cotabato-Davao National Highway. After Makilala, other outlets will be opened in Tulunan and Magpet in North Cotabato, as well as Bansalan, Matanao, Magsaysay, and parts of Digos City recently hit by the quakes. Minimum workers in Cordillera are set to receive a higher paycheck before Christmas. And another pork products from Manila are seized at the Dumaguete Airport. More on these and other news in the provinces from Benj Bondoc.
In Cordillera, all minimum wage earners in Baguio City, La Trinidad in Benguet, and Tabuk City in Kalinga will start to get 350 pesos a day wage from the previous 320 pesos, while other areas in the region will start to get 340 pesos from 315 pesos when wage order number 20 takes effect November 18. Aside from the increase, the 10 peso cost of living allowance of the employees will be incorporated in the minimum wage effective May 1 next year, which will have an effect on the computation of the 13th month pay and the retirement benefit of the employees. In Negros Oriental, authorities have intercepted raw and frozen meat products from passengers at the Dumaguete Sibulan Airport. The 3 passengers from Manila were apparently bringing these items as pasalubong but without the necessary legal papers such as shipping permit and meat inspector's permit. This is the 3rd time authorities have made interceptions at Dumaguete, the first one involving siomai and siopaw at the Dumaguete Airport. Meanwhile, General Santos City declared singer Lea Navarro as persona non grata over her comment on social media that the recent earthquakes in Mindanao were a retribution. Aside from declaring Navarro as persona non grata, the council said it will not issue a permit to any event that will feature her as performer. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondoc.
Up next, PHIVOLCS launched a web app that can analyze places vulnerable to tsunamis. And residents of Ormoc, Leyte remember the tragic 1991 flash flood on its 28th year. We will be back after a few reminders.
Ako, bilang mamamayang Filipino, ay kinikilala ang kahalagahan ng mga bata sa lipunan.
Dahil dito, ako ay nangangakong isulong, protektahan,
galang at pangalagaan ang karapatan ng bawat bata, anuman ang kanyang kulay, kasarian, lahi,
relihiyon, kultura, estado sa buhay, may kapansanan man o wala,
upang matiyak ang kasiyahan ng mga bata.
Naniniwala akong nararapat na matamasa nila ang mga ito.
Maisilang at mabigyan ng sapat na pangangailangan upang mabuhay ng maayos.
Lumago ang kaalaman, kakayahan at talento.
Maproteksyonan sa anumang uri ng pang-aabuso, panganib at karahasan.
Makalahok sa mga gawain patungkol sa mga bata.
May pagtatanggol at matutulungan ng pamahalaan sa lahat ng panahon.
Sa tulong ng poong may kapal, ito ay aking isa sa puso at isa sa gawa. Ang lahat ng ito
dahil ang mga bata, ang pag-asa at siyang magpapaunlad sa ating bayan.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology on Tuesday officially launched a website application that can generate maps and analytics of areas exposed to tsunami risk. The website GeoAnalytics PH was launched as the country joined the observance of World Tsunami Awareness Day. PHIVOLC's Director Renato Solidum said the website would provide fast and accurate hazard and risk assessment to help the LGUs and government agencies in disaster management. Solidum earlier said the DOST has allotted 24 million pesos for this project, and the big chunk of the budget are used to buy computers and software. You may access the data at the website geoanalytics.georisk.gov.ph. The employer of the two Filipino seafarers who were reportedly abducted by armed pirates in Greece is coordinating with local authorities for the safety and immediate release of the captives. The Department of Labor and Employment on Tuesday said the owners or principals in Greece is coordinating with the to-go authorities through an agent for the safety and speedy release of the abducted seafarers. Based on the information received, the two Filipinos were identified as Elmer Padesio and Rene Lazaga. Aside from the two OFWs, 2 Greeks were also taken by the pirates. On Saturday, 9 Filipino sailors in a ship waiting in the harbor of the Venice port of Cotonou were also abducted by suspected pirates. Attacks on ships and the abductions of the crew for ransom have been reported in the West African waters. And in sports, over 25,000 athletes, team officials, games workforce, and volunteers of the 30th Southeast Asian Games will now be covered by insurance. In a memorandum of agreement signed between the Philippine Sports Commission and Standard Insurance Company Incorporated, each covered person will have 300,000 pesos insurance coverage. Standard Insurance will cover death or any accident-related injuries, which is also extended to any sport-related injuries such as training or in-game injuries. Sports injuries coming from sabotage and acts of terrorism is also included in the policy coverage. According to the agreement, coverage is from October 13 until December 15, 2019 to include players of the football and water polo event scheduled ahead of the official opening ceremonies on November 30th. Ormoc City residents on Tuesday commemorated the 28th anniversary of the flash flood brought about by Typhoon Erring. Over 8,000 residents died in the 1991 flash flood, which includes some 3,000 residents whose bodies were never found. The flash flood submerged low-lying communities by as much as 3 meters, and Ormoc City suffered the greatest damage. In a simple ceremony at the Anilao Bridge, Mayor Richard Gomez stressed the importance of planting trees and environmental protection, as well as following disaster preparedness protocols. Gomez said that after 28 years, the city's residents have been moving forward and learned to protect the city from destructive impacts of natural calamities and disasters. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. Malacanang welcomes Vice President Leni Robredo's acceptance of her appointment as co-chair of the government's anti-illegal drugs body. The PCOO defends the raid and mass arrest against activist groups in Bacolod. The MMDA is set to suspend about 1,000 bus drivers due to excessive traffic violations. And residents of Ormoc Leyte remember the tragic 1991 flash flood on its 28th year. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am William Theo. Good day.